should let me run your life.
Hi, Obi here. Sorry about my quarantine hair. Today I wanted to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion while putting on my makeup. Full disclosure, I have seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, the 1995 copy, before. How is that, you might ask? I own a copy. It was my brother's copy. The thing about it is, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Shinji was intolerable. He was spineless and weak and annoying. So, given that I dislike this show, why am I rewatching it for you guys and going over the first 3 episodes for you? It is because I found an AMV. I see your light, like never that been seen before. I was intrigued, and I had to know what the new film series was. So, in order to approach the new film series with an educated idea of what Neon Genesis is, I am rewatching the first 3 episodes with you guys. So in the first episode, the first thing you notice is the opening. It's very anime, in that it's not very suited to the anime itself. It's very jazzy, it's very upbeat, it doesn't suit the show at all, and I love it. These opening scenes with the angel and Shinji's arrival really give us a feel for how 90s this show is. It definitely has that like look. There's nothing not to like in just the look, just the aesthetic of the show. And that continues throughout it. It's a very pretty show. And then we meet Misato. Misato was supposed to pick his ass up somewhere else. The military tries their hand at destroying the angel, and it does not go well. As one might expect. And so they hand over the reins of destroying the angel to Shinji's sketchy daddy. And as Shinji is being taken into Nerv, the government agency that his sketchy daddy works for, and where everything happens beyond this point, basically, we find out that he has daddy issues. And Dad's like, hey, fly this robot. And Shinji's like, I don't know how to fly a robot. I don't know what you want me to do about that. I haven't been trained. That sounds dangerous. And he's right. As a kid, I hated that. I hated that moment specifically because I was like, who the hell wouldn't want to pilot a robot? That sounds cool. Thing is purple. Love it. And so they wheel in Rei to take care of it. And Rei is beat to hell. What kind of training exercises are we doing with Rei that would put her in such a state? These injuries did not come from an angel. I don't know, if I was Shinji, I'd be more sketched out by that. I'd be like, so, is that gonna happen to me? So the robot saves him out of nowhere. That's great. Love that. Ray falls and gets even more hurt because, you know, poor Ray. She just has the worst of luck. Far before she has a single line. She doesn't get a single line until the 3rd episode. And in this way, Shinji is kind of guilted into getting into the Eva, basically. That's the first episode, is they shoot him right up in front of the angel. And the problem with that is he hasn't been trained. He doesn't know what he's doing. And they just threw him in front of a monster that has been that size and been able to fight and do stuff. And we've seen it destroy every military equipment they've thrown at it and take a nuke to the face. And they just put him in front of it. Just, there you go. That's it. There you are. Hi, there's an angel. Welcome to Nerv. I level with Shinji so much more than I used to. I'd been pissed if I was him. Sorry. The next episode begins. Immediately, what we see is him taking a step in the robot. Nerv is kind of happy about that. You kind of see him celebrate the fact that he can take a step. And I was sitting there like, y'all happy about this? y'all think there's something good about that? Cause he about to die. He doesn't need to be taking baby steps, he needs to be running. So yeah, he takes one step, and second step he falls, and the angel kicks his ass, absolutely destroys him. And so Shinji wakes up in the hospital. Misato, the girl who escorted him here very poorly and almost got him killed, she's like, nah, nah. So she takes him in. What we can learn and appreciate is Misato. Because she is your average, young, alcoholic adult. She lives with a penguin. Penguins are great. I'm sure he's a chill roommate. We get a scene towards the end of the episode where we find out what happened with the angel and the Evangelion. As Shinji is getting absolutely destroyed, he goes berserk, basically. And we are led to believe that this is Shinji going berserk. I think it wasn't Shinji going berserk. I think it was the Eva itself. Because Shinji isn't a fighter. He doesn't know anything. The way that thing moves is elegant. Yeah, he absolutely destroys it. It's amazing. The color palette is great, the action is great. At the very end, like the last moment, we get we get to see its organic body. It's not just a robot, it's more than that. Which is why me calling it a robot has been incorrect this entire time. Episode 3. He's back in the Eva. And what we immediately notice is that your boy Shinji is not okay. He got the same blank look that Ray had. So we kind of get the idea that he's been training like this consistently. As soon as they get that set, then they start to do other stuff. And the other stuff is school. It's like the attempt at normalcy amid this like angel apocalypse, the end of the world, and this kind of like change of reality and this really dire, dark, emotional time. But yeah, he goes to school, and it doesn't go well. And we get to see Rei's first line. Yay, Rei, get a line, girl. Turns out, there's an angel on the way. So they throw Shinji back into the Eva, and the angel absolutely goes to town on him. Why? Because he is kind of emotionally scarred from being beat up earlier. Because, like, on some level, like, what's the point in defeating the angel if no one's going to appreciate you? Which, again, I level with this time. So the boys kind of, like, break out of the civilian shelter that they're supposed to be in to keep them safe from the angels. And they almost get killed for it, so could have seen that coming. And so Shinji kind of panics a little bit, and Misato has him bring the bullies into his, like, pilot capsule inside the Eva. Because his power supply has been severed and the bullies are there, Misato says to retreat, but Shinji goes berserk. And he's screaming, and he's having a freaking meltdown, and it's intense. I love it. And this time, I really do think it's Shinji. Number one, because we actually get to see him kind of freak out. And number two, because his movements are different. And that's why I think it was the Eva the first time. And then you get this really, like, somber, almost like intimate moment where it's Shinji's just like sobbing after going berserk, and the two bullies are in there just like, what do we do? And the other thing is that we get to see more of the Eva's organic material, like more of its body that's underneath the armor. And what we see is it has fingernails, which is just so weird, just so strange to me. It's so much more human than its face. Oh, I didn't talk about the earlier moment. Okay, so I'm gonna like right now. Really pretty scene. It's just pink and black. It's really dramatic. It's just wonderful palette, wonderful palette. Behind them, in kind of like the background, there's like this hand in the back, and it's so cool looking. So my theory is that that was one of the discarded organic Evas before it was armored, like whenever they were testing and stuff. But the thing about that hand in the back is it also had fingernails. So that's why I think it's the same creature too. Like, it's just, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's something about that that's important. I don't remember what it was, but it looked cool. So in conclusion, there are a couple things to note about the show. Shinji's a lot more sympathetic than I remember, and I've been talking about this the whole time. But I've already talked about that at length, so I'll just leave it be, since y'all know already. So one of the things to consider if you wanted to watch this show, which is what I'm talking about it for, is in case you want to watch it or in case you don't want to watch it and want to have a vague idea of what's going on, is that you should know that the early show and the late show are very different. Very different. So right now what we're getting is like almost like a slice of life, which doesn't sound like it or look like it visually, but compared to the late show, oh boy, is this pretty tame. I remember specifically there was a massive scene. I just got mascara all in my hair because my hair is too freaking long. There was a scene in like the last part of the show, and it could have been the movie, but it was your stereotypical sci-fi scene in which a monotone man monologues for a solid 45 minutes to an hour, and you have no idea what's being said. That's kind of like when the reveal happens, and I don't remember, because I don't remember what it was. It didn't stick, because it was in a monotone speech that lasted for an hour. It was an hour. But, yeah, so that is very much not what the first part of the show is. The first part of the show is kind of like him adjusting to this new life, this new ordinary world. So if you like the idea of the first part, but you don't like the idea of sitting for an hour listening to bullcrap, I would just say start and then just cut it off whenever you don't want to watch it anymore. Just don't even bother, it's fine. You're not committing to something anymore than you want to. No one's gonna make you finish it. And let's be honest, the films look better anyways, visually. One thing that's kind of hard on me watching just the first 3 episodes is that Izuka's not in it. And Izuka's my favorite character. She should have been the main character in my eyes still. Even though I sympathize with Shinji more now, I still think she should have been the main character. There's also a character that I don't remember being in the show that I saw in that AMV. I looked it up and his name is Kaoru. It goes to show what I was paying attention to. Izuka. The reason that Izuka is one of the coolest characters is, number 1, she's ballsy. She's a badass. She's great. Number 2, the most iconic scene of the show. Takes a submarine and goes woof, woof, and it's so cool. And you see it repeated throughout anime in general. Like it was a very effective visual scene. Would I suggest this show? I can't suggest it. I can't say that it's a must-watch. That like I can't agree with that. I don't think you need to watch it. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's something. I'll probably eventually watch the rest of it and tell you about it. Just so you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Will I pick up everything and be completely aware of what's going on? Probably not. So the only thing that I want to talk to you about now is Studio Gainax. Because whether or not you decide to watch this show, you should know about Studio Gainax. And that is because they were kind of a one-hit wonder. Neon Genesis was their big thing. But right after that, they went through a couple lawsuits. And they pretty much got broken up. And a lot of the studios that have come out of it are a lot better and a lot more impressive. And we're gonna hear a lot about them in the future. One of them is the one that made the films that are prettier and apparently better than the show. There's a lot of Gainax drama. They went through some tax fraud and some dispersal, and they really didn't make much, so there's a reason that Neon Genesis is the way it is. It was kind of a mistake that happened to go really well. Like, they're known for doing good things. they just kind of got this one thing right in their own way, and then messed it up in the end, in my opinion, from memory, which could be wrong, because I was wrong about freaking Shinji, apparently. But yeah, that's Neon Genesis, can't recommend, but I mean, do what you want. I don't have an outro, or maybe I do, maybe I'll make one before I post this. Bye. This is very hard. It'll be a couple episodes before I can consistently do both at the same time. Oh! He right. He's been right this whole time. I don't know, it's anime, it's weird. I'm actually really proud of this. I actually feel really pretty.